How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. El Salvador just did something really interesting, and I think a lot of people are being misinformed or just don't even know what's happening with El Salvador. They just struck a deal with the IMF, and they are changing their Bitcoin policy. They're also buying more than what they were planning on or what they have been buying. But depending on where you look, you might get very bullish takes, you might get very bearish takes. So I want to go through that, talk to you about what is actually happening, because again, just depending on who you're watching, you'll hear all different kinds of things. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. If you want to trade crypto, there's a link underneath the video to CoinW. You can get set up in just a few minutes and start placing trades. And when you sign up with the link underneath the video, you can earn up to $30,000 in sign-up bonuses. You also have, let's see, where is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, you can earn up to 55 Solana just from trading. The more you trade, the more Solana you get. And you can also join the private group that gives you access to free professional traders, and they go through some of their trades, scalp trades, and longer-term swing trades. So definitely check that out underneath the video. This is one of the platforms I use to trade. Now, we're hearing a lot of interesting things today. El Salvador, just search that on Twitter and you'll see everything from El Salvador buying 11 Bitcoin instead of 1 Bitcoin, securing a $3.3 billion IMF loan, saying that they will continue to buy Bitcoin at an accelerated pace, to Jacob King saying El Salvador was the only country on earth to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. When they realized no one was using it, they forced its acceptance along with fiat currency. A year later, usage of Bitcoin has plummeted by 99%. The government is now selling off their wallet app. Following a deal with the IMF, Bitcoin has failed everywhere it's been implemented. Its price is an illusion detached from real value. It serves no purpose. The demand is non-existent. He's a very common bear on Twitter. Breaking. Bitcoin plunges under 95,000. El Salvador reverses pro-Bitcoin policies. We're getting like all different kinds of takes on this. So let's go over what's actually happening. First of all, you can see something very obvious. There's no lying about this. There's no miscalculations or misinterpreting. They just bought 11 Bitcoin. They bought $1 million worth of Bitcoin here today, and usually they buy one a day. So they at least accelerated their pace for today, which is odd because, again, they don't do this barely ever. And if you hear something making noise, it's the Bitcoin baby in the background. He wanted to join us for the video. But you can see, like, there is an accelerated pace of buying, and we had heard that they might start accelerating how much they're buying. What we also know is that there was this deal from the IMF that was on the table, a $3.5 billion IMF financing package. But there were a couple of things that they had to do, and this was actually a really good thread. We actually saw Nayib Bukele repost this thread. So to recap, the rules for what they have to do to get this $3.5 billion loan are listed right down here. Bitcoin acceptance must be voluntary, which it was all along. So what does this mean exactly? Does it mean that Bitcoin isn't going to be accepted? I don't think so. I think it means that it's not going to be forced to be accepted, right? Legal tender's definition is coins or banknotes that must be accepted if offered in payment of a debt. So maybe it's just going to be, suggested. They can still have different incentives for people to use Bitcoin, but maybe it's just not going to be required everywhere. And I could have that wrong. Maybe Bitcoin's not going to be a legal tender. Maybe it is. There's not a lot of clarification right now from what I can tell, but we'll get more. The government wallet Chivo will be privatized and taxes must no longer be paid in Bitcoin. Okay, so a couple small things, but they're still going to be very pro-Bitcoin. There's still a lot of people that want to use Bitcoin. And again, I apologize, but no one's talking about whether it's technically required, like legal tender. I believe, again, that you can just say, no, I don't want to take Bitcoin, or yes, I do want to take Bitcoin, and that kind of thing. Kind of like you can say that about different cards. Like, yes, we accept MasterCard. No, we don't accept MasterCard. We accept Visa, that kind of thing. So what do they get out of this? What does this mean? Is this them being bearish? No. It's a way for them to get $3.5 billion. Okay, new spot because the baby's comfortable. So I'm comfortable. The thing is, what they're doing here and what they have done, they've created a strategic Bitcoin reserve before any other country that we know of, right? They've started to buy Bitcoin. Now, whether it's legal tender, I don't really care. I think that's a cool narrative. But the bigger thing is a nation state reserve, right? Do we need every single person to have to accept Bitcoin? No, I don't think that's really imperative for the price to go up, for us to get more users, for Bitcoin to continue to progress. What we need is some people to want to save in Bitcoin because they understand it. Forcing people to take it isn't always the best option. Some people naturally then push against it because they just don't want to. But what the nation's doing here is pretty obvious. And actually, they just found, according to them, $3 trillion of gold. So they've alluded to the fact that they are going to use it to buy Bitcoin. And Nayib Bukele has said, we're going to dilute the hell out of it. We're going to sell as much as we can. And then kind of alluded to the fact that they're going to be buying Bitcoin with it. They've also said that they're going to start buying more Bitcoin just in general. And part of that they've alluded is because of this new loan. You can already see that playing out. They bought 11 Bitcoin here today instead of 1 Bitcoin. So they could do this, and that $3.5 billion loan could actually fund them at today's prices to buy about 10 Bitcoin a day for the next 10 years. Just about. The numbers work out almost perfectly. So obviously the price of Bitcoin will go up and go down and go up and go down, but that gives you a little bit of an idea. They could just go out and buy $3.5 billion when they secure this loan. I don't know the specifics of the loan, how it's paid out, that kind of thing. But how funny would that be if they pull the MicroStrategy playbook with the IMF, basically just giving them the middle finger saying, you want to give us debt? You want to give us a loan? Sure, we'll take it and we'll go buy Bitcoin with it. We're playing the MicroStrategy playbook, but with your money instead of the bank's money. Instead of shareholder money, we'll do it with the IMF. So I think there's a game that's being played. They're playing the game. Maybe they realize not quite as many people understand Bitcoin, want to use Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's great. I think it's a great savings vehicle. You can also use it on the Lightning Network, and it can be really beneficial. But not everyone's going to use it, so they might be thinking, well, we're stacking a Bitcoin a day. We could really secure our nation's future by securing $3.5 billion and then just going and buying a boatload of Bitcoin. Maybe that is more important than forcing some of these Bitcoin laws, or maybe we can just finesse this a little bit and we can get both things. Maybe the IMF will back off over time, or maybe they can't actually enforce it. Who knows? So let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. It's really fascinating to see this play that El Salvador is making, and maybe I'm reading into it too much. Maybe they just had an extra $1 million sitting around. It seems like they're going to be buying Bitcoin at an accelerated pace because of this loan closure. Like, what are the chances that these are on the exact same day after they've been buying 1 Bitcoin a day for about 2 years, something like that? It's been over a year. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Again, if you want to trade crypto, there's a link to CoinW underneath the video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.